Hi, welcome to Producer Basics Part 2. Today we're going to be talking about the basic navigation of Ableton, and this will be for anyone who wants to learn more about Ableton or any beginner producers who are thinking about getting Ableton. Let's get into it. When you come into Ableton, it will look a little bit different than what you see here. Reason being, I set up a default template which has different colors, but yours should have 2 audio tracks as well as 2 MIDI, and it should be the same otherwise. All right, so hopping right into it, what you see on the left-hand side is going to be your navigation. This is going to be where you will find your plugins, your loops, your samples, so on. And then on the right-hand side, what you'll see when you get into Ableton first is going to be the session view. This is going to be for anyone who wants to launch in a clip type mode. So if you look here, you'll see that there are different boxes and you can actually navigate using the arrows on your keyboard. And this is going to be for launching either clips of audio or clips of MIDI. And what that will do is it will allow you to record in a clip type live fashion where you can launch clips in different arrangements so that you can build a song live. That is the whole idea behind the Ableton Live part. And it's really specific to Ableton, and it's one of the reasons I personally prefer it, because it does give that live aspect if you want it. Now, if you want to have a more traditional experience with producing, you'll want to switch to the arrangement view, as they call it here. It has different names and different DAWs, but this is going to be where you will lay down a linear version of your track. And if you want to do it in a clip out version, you can launch clips. So you can do a different arrangement of drums, a different arrangement of keys, so on and so forth, and then launch those in what we call scenes. Each scene can be launched from the right-hand side, as you see, and the scenes are made up of clips that you see here. And they're going to be made up of either audio or MIDI samples that are going through the system. To demonstrate the session view, I'm going to show you how you can drag in clips. So let's just take some of the samples, go here, and drag in a sample. We'll take this 808 sample here and drag it in there. This is just going to give us one kick. So there's that. And then if you wanted to do more of a loop, you could do that. So let's look for a loop. You can search in this bar, which is really, really helpful when you're looking for something specific. So let's take a loop here. Let's find a full loop. There we go. So we'll do this drum loop. And then for MIDI, it would be the same thing, but let's do a bass loop or melody. All right, and then you can just go down to all results and let's pick one. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then you can launch from here. And then in order to have that show in a linear fashion, you would just hit record and it would start recording everything into the linear view like so. Now when you're working with MIDI, it's going to be a little bit different, but it'll be essentially the same thing. So for MIDI, you can insert a blank MIDI clip, and then you'll obviously need something to play MIDI on. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and open up a instance of Serum, which is a synth that I like to use often. So now that I've picked a Serum preset that I can go ahead and use, what I'll be doing is showing you how you will insert MIDI. So once you've come here, you'll be able to draw in MIDI. You can actually play it if you have a MIDI device, but for this example, we're just going to draw it in. You can also use the pencil tool up here, which can draw in the notes depending on your grid, or you can just do the drag and drop method where you'll double click and that will bring it in as well. Now what we'll want to do for this is just pick a simple melody that we can go along with this. And the cool thing about Ableton is there is a scale feature which allows you to check the scale of your track. So we'll just pick something simple. And then you would, in the same fashion that we did before, just go ahead and hit record. And it will record from the session view into the arrangement view. So let's try it out. but first we'll have to hit this. It sounds terrible, but you get the point. Basically when you'll draw in or play in the keys. But that is the basics of the session view, as well as a little bit about the arrangement view. Next thing I'll show you is going to be where you'll get your effects from and where to put them on so that you can add different effects such as delay and reverb and compression to your tracks. For that, what you'll do is you will go into your effects, which can be found either here under audio effects or here under MIDI effects. And then let's say for this one we want to put a grain delay on this, so we would pick the grain delay. You can either double click or you have the option of dragging. I prefer to double click, it's much faster. And then for this part, it is going to be down here. You'll see you have two different tabs. One is going to be where you'll see the audio, and then the next one is going to be where you'll drop your audio effects and plugins so that you can add that type of plugin or effect to your instruments. And that's Producer Basics Part 2. If you learned something, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.